Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We are gathered here today at our webinar. Just let me share the screen with you first. Today, we are gathered here for our webinar on the only possible way for sustainable development where no one is left behind. In Bangladeshi time, we are here at 7 p.m. In Indian time, we are at 6:30. As our dignified speaker of this session, we have Shobha Shuklaji. I'd like to give a brief introduction of Madam. Shobha Shukla Madam is a feminist. She is a health and development justice advocate. She has been a former senior faculty at India's prestigious Loreto Convent College, and she has taught physics for over 30 years there. She is the founding editor and executive director at CNS, Citizen News Service, who are already logged in with us. She is the coordinator of AppCat Media. She has done her master's in statistics in Lucknow University, India. She has done her certificate course in copy and structural editing from the Academy of Literacy Arts and Publishing in Singapore. In 2019, she achieved the HIV Science Journalism Fellowship from International AIDS Society, Geneva. HIV Prevention Research Journalism Fellowship in 2018 in Spain. The awards Madam has received are AIDS Society of India's Presidential Awards 2019, AppCat Award in Bogor, Indonesia in 2019 for outstanding contribution of CNS to tobacco control and global health, Hindustan Times Women with Powerful Pen Certificate Appreciation by film star Shabana Azmi in 2013, HIV Vaccine Science Journalism Fellowship Award in Boston 2012 in USA, Award of Outstanding Writer Achievement by Newsblaze in USA 2010, Hindustan Times Certificate of Appreciation presented by film star Anubhav Kher in International Women's Day 2011, and J2J or Journalist to Journalist Fellowship Award by the National Press Foundation in Washington, D.C., USA in 2010. Madam, we are absolutely honored and privileged to have you here with us. Before going to you, I would like to ask Barrister Shamim Haider Patwari sir, MP and Chairman of Board of Trustees, Dhaka International University, to please give the inaugural speech and announce the opening of our session.
Thank you, Sadia. It's an honor and privilege that a dignified personality like Shobhaji consented to deliver a speech on sustainable development, and we really humbled, honored and privileged, and I on behalf of Dhaka International University welcome Shobhaji. And of course, COVID bring us together virtually more than before, and COVID created an extraordinary opportunity to create a virtual world. And through this virtual world and of course other initiative, we can really actualize the conceptualization of SDGs and other things. And Shobhaji is one of the finest person I have ever met in my life. We first met in Singapore in an AppCat conference where I represented Bangladesh Parliament. And then we again met in Bali, Bogor, in another wonderful conference, and she chaired the journalist session. She introduced the citizens journalism in this region, and she also ran CNS, one of the finest online citizen-based journalist agency in this region. And also she promoted health journalism, of course. And I read some of her article in recent newspapers, the analysis, the forecast and the vision, definitely outstanding. We're very, very humbled that she gave her precious time, and of course our teachers, our students, our faculties, our researchers, and all other audience who is now participating in Zoom and Facebook Live or in YouTube will be immensely benefited through his outstanding speech. And the topic she's going to ponder upon is SDG and its goal, its sustainability, and this what is SDG? It's basically Sustainable Development Goal declared in 2016. And in Bangladesh, we are over enthusiastic about SDGs because we achieved MDG, Millennium Development Goal, before time. But I think this is a misnomer because the goal set forth in SDG are much more higher than the goal set forth in Millennium Development Goal. So we achieved Millennium Development Goal. This does not give us a confidence, should not give us a confidence that we will obviously achieve SDG goal unless we really, really work hard for it really push advocacy for it, really prioritize the real priority issues, and of course funding is a big issue. And after the COVID, in the new normal situation, uh, to what extent we have to customize the SDG goals, that is also should be one thing under research, and we need output on this area as well. And also Shobhaji and me both working together on NCD prevention, and also we are working together on tobacco control, and she achieved so much in tobacco control in her state and worldwide. We all respect her a lot. And also um, we consider that tobacco control is a really effective measure to achieve SDG, because it's connected with health, it's connected with child labor, it connected with the environment, it connected with so many issues. And also we work in NCD prevention, because almost 60% of the world's death attributable to NCD. So that is also non-communicable disease. That is also one of the top priorities of SDG. And during the COVID period, we feel that the citizens and world citizens should have one more freedom. So in Amartya Sen says we must have freedom to read, freedom to write, freedom of movement, and we must have now freedom of internet. That is also important. So if we have a disturbed internet, despite the fact state provide you so many other advantage, so many other amenities, the COVID shows that all other amenities seems useless unless you have this fundamental basic freedom to internet, and freedom of health, of course, that is also important. So I'm sure the next 1 hour or more or less with questionnaire will be very inquisitive, will be very innovative, will be an eye-opening speech, an eye-opening question and answer session. I'd invite students and everybody to ask question. Shobha madam is very open-minded and very liberal, and she believes in pluralism and discussion. I also give many interview with her, and she really know how to focus on the real issues and how to elicit the real issue from the statement. So I'd not take much longer time. I would like to give the floor to the right person, and of course it will be a questionnaire session, and I will join. I'm eagerly waiting to listen from Shobha madam. Thank you everybody. Thank you Sadia.
Thank you so much, sir. Hopefully you'll be with us throughout the program. And I would like to mention that we are live on our Facebook page, DIU Facebook page, our website, and also on YouTube.
To answer any questions as they come. Or if you have any doubts or any conversation or any comments you want.
Thank you so much, madam. The last slide, the picture on the last slide, the hope, the light of hope, I think that will remain among us. So I would like to ask my students and esteemed colleagues, if you have any questions, please, you're most welcome to this. Madam is here to answer you. So let me start with the questions first. Madam, the first question came is how a developing country like Bangladesh can ensure affordable, sustainable development.
Okay, I am sure that we have a member of parliament from Bangladesh who is here, and he has done, I think, a lot by way of, from what I hear, at least providing open spaces. When we talk of health and we talk of controlling non-communicable diseases, then providing safe spaces for leading a healthy lifestyle, having cycle tracks. And I have seen in many foreign countries that there is a dedicated lane for cycles on all roads. And it is, nobody is ashamed of riding a cycle. But here in our countries, as I had taken that example, because car is such a prestigious thing for us. So having those spaces, having parks, we are told that you exercise a lot. But where do we go and exercise? In my city, it's so difficult to even cross a road walking. So, and I'm sure Patwari Saab can enlighten us a little more on what Bangladesh can do and what they are doing. He is doing a lot. But I think it is a concerted attempt from all of us. And I said that charity doesn't begin at home, but work begins at home. So little bit if we can do, and at least if we can contribute towards safe spaces for women, for the elderly, uh, that will go a long way. And Patwari ji, we would like to hear from you
Yeah,
also.
thank you. Thank you, Shubhaji, for the wonderful speech. And of course, SDG is a big challenge for Bangladesh. And the challenge is not of funding, or challenge is not to implement, challenge is to set the priority. Challenges is to save the wastage of money in the wrong forum. Challenges basically is to create the mindset. That is so important. So like in my constituency, I am constructing few stadiums, parks, and of course library. I already constructed 6 library, but we don't have any separate budget allocation for them. We have a general budget, so I really customize the budget for doing these things, and these things have enormous impact. When I started the library, people says in this virtual world, no one will go to library. Now every youth, youngs, when pass through the library, they enter the library, sit there for 1 hour, read books, and go back with a smiling face, with a fresh mind. Books, fresh airs, grounds, they really change the mindset. And this way you can really control the crime. This way you can really control the drug addictions. And you can save millions and trillions of state money, which we were providing for combating those malices, or those havocs. But if you can prevent them, you don't have an early modifiable preventable stage for anything. The same is true for suicides, and same is true for drug addiction, same is for tobacco, and same is for NDC. So I personally believe if we have an open bureaucracy with partnership, because like many other countries, our bureaucracy also don't believe in partnership. The government and bureaucracy believe they can alone achieve all goals, which is a wrong goal and which is a wrong judgment. So if the government, if the bureaucracy, they really share their responsibility and fund and resource and all the technical know-hows with universities, with NGOs, with civil societies, with local government, with MPs, only then we can really achieve SDG. Yes, there is a huge fund shortage, because in 2016, when Barack Obama pronounced SDG, there is a commitment from all over the world that they will provide funds for achieving SDG. That commitment is also not met up. But aside from that, we can really achieve that if we go for partnership. But we have to prioritize our issues. Like you rightly mentions about climate refugees. Bangladesh is, in a recent article, World Economic Forum says Bangladesh economic bloom is outstanding. Bangladesh is one of the 5th largest outsourcing IT-based country in the world. But 1/4 of our population is at the risk of being climate refugee within a decade. So if I'm talking about 18 crore people, 80 million people's country. So 1/4 is bigger than many other country. So we are going to lose 1/4 people's house. And now the government is providing house for many poor people. So whatever amount or whatever number of house you provide, if 1/4 people is now climate refugee, you cannot provide home for everybody. It is impossible, because they are losing their home anyway. So that is a big challenge. And you rightly says the carbon emissions country is doing it. An act of injustice anywhere in the world is threat to justice everywhere in the world. So they are producing carbon, but we, the lowlands, we, the downstream lands, are paying for that, absolutely. So we are thinking now really river control and sea management is becoming a big major issue of us. Even if we go for SDG, we need those before. And you also mentioned about recognition of unpaid care work by women. I'm also one of the advocates in these issues. I attended a couple of seminars, and I also raised the issue in Parliament that we do not recognize this unpaid work done by women in household work. So we invite all the men to share their work with women, firstly. Secondly, we want a GDP recognition for this unpaid care work. So it is very difficult to calculate, I understand, but we have to start recognizing the contribution in the GDP of this unpaid work. And then reduction. How can we reduce the load from the women, in particular old women, pregnant women? They really face serious human rights trouble because of this unpaid care work. And redistribution. How can we pay off this unpaid work? So my suggestion was that in addition to religious distribution of property. For unpaid work, everyone will get an additional share from his husband's property. That may be a token share, but an additional share should be, the state should provide a statutory measure, statutory enactment for all women for their homework, for their home care work, for children, for husband, they will get an additional share. And also in Parliament, I courageously mention about deserted women security, that if a woman get divorced from husband, she will have a right to stay in matrimonial home until next marriage. So this is recognized by Indian jurisprudence, and a great lawyer and jurist, Lord Denning, first invented it in England. So time has come also to recognize this. Today is very important day because today our president passed an ordinance for pronouncing death penalty, up to death penalty for rapes. So that is one side of women protection, but there is so many other things yet to be recognized. Marital rape is not yet recognized. This unpaid care work, this is one thing. And also you mentioned about T.N. Sessions. Yes, he was a lone ranger. He was a lone fighter. Before his taking the office of Indian Election Commission, India was like any other democratic country of the third world. But with his intervention, he really changed the democratic character of India. And he changed the name. Earlier it was Election Commission, then it was written Government of India. He deleted the name Government of India. He made it Election Commission of India. And whenever any minister used to write letter to him or invite him, he says, I, as election commissioner, cannot go any minister's office. You can come and have a cup of tea. So one man can make very difference. You know about Rosa Parker, one of the black lady who really says no in the bus. That yes, the bus, the seat was reserved only for white. She was sitting in the seat, and some white boy came and says, get up, and he says no. And that no is become a roar, and that really locked down the entire America, and the civil rights movement started under the leadership of Martin Luther King. So really one person, if want, can really make a change. Of course, Shobhaji, you are doing a wonderful job. We're highly encouraged by you. And of course, you're encouraging us. That is also a source of strength. And I think collectively we are in a world where in the era of globalization, we cannot think in isolation. We cannot think that my country can fulfill SDG and my neighbor cannot do it, because we have to do it together because it's so interlinked. We can really fencing the border, but can we fence pollution? We cannot. Really, that's really important issues. And I have also one question to you. It's a little bit connected with politics. A number of people are really thinking that the Citizenship Amendment Act, it also may create a second partition in India, or sometimes some believe that it may also create a second-class citizenship without voting rights and other civil rights. So do you think that also would be will add more challenge for implementing SDG? Because if someone is second-class citizen without voting rights, if they are refraining in one concentrated area, how can they achieve the SDG goals?
Yes, of course. And when we are talking of achieving SDG goals, the Citizenship Act, I don't want to make many comments on.
I'd like to add some comment on SDG because I attended 2 meetings recently with UNDP.
Yes.
So I made a couple of proposals, and 2 of them has been accepted by UNDP. One is like, though of course SDG has to be worked in its entirely, and we have to take a holistic approach, and the goals are very interlinked. Right. But I propose is that we choose 4 poorest districts of Bangladesh. Bangladesh has 64 districts. So we say it's first we choose 4 poorest districts and give our full effort in those 4 districts.
Yes.
And achieve some of the goals. They are sanitation, zero poverty and zero unemployment. And that's we are trying, starting point. Another one I propose that to really make it happen, we should include all member of parliaments, including the backbencher MPs, those who are not ministers or senior parliamentarians like me, junior parliamentarians. So I suggest them allocate 1 goal to one sub goal to 1 backbencher MPs. So they work together, but someone will be coordinate on 1 goal or 1 sub goal with the ministries, and he will be responsible for that. He can be champion for that. And these 2 proposals they really accepted, and I think this can be really helpful in the coming
Yes.
days.
Yes, it's just that we need more people like you, Patwari ji.
Thank you for the nice comment.
And that is important, that you make other members of parliaments and other people in power to see. And you have a great opportunity by running an institute and university.
Yes.
And the other day I was talking to somebody, I said that if the head of the institution wants to bring about positive changes, nobody can stop that person.
Yeah.
If somebody working at a junior position level wants to bring about a change in the institution, he or she may have to face some problems. But if the head of institution wants to do something, there's nothing stopping that person. So that's important.
Fine. Thank you.
Okay. So it was really very nice speaking to all of you, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for bearing with me for such a long time.
Madam, thank you so much for being with us. It's been an honor to have you here, and inshallah we'll have you again in future. And I would like to invite you on behalf of Dhaka International University in Dhaka. Please do come if you have the chance.
Yes, inshallah, Sadia, and let this COVID-19 go away quickly, and definitely I would like to come.
Yes, let us get the vaccine first, and inshallah we'll have you among us.
Yes.
So if we don't have any more questions, I think we can wrap up our program here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying connected. Thank you so much, Shobha Shukla, madam, for your valuable time. Thank you so much, Barrister Shamim Haider Patwari, sir, for staying connected with us and giving your valuable time. And this was our program, our webinar on sustainable development. And I'm sure our students and the participants learned a lot of new information. So that will be it. Thank you so much. I'm Sadia Mazhabin from Department of Business Administration. I would declare the end of our session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.